You're welcome to today's episode of Chronicles of a Nigerian Woman. My name is Fagbeja. Today, I'll be reading Mildred's story. I am an identical twin. My twin sister, Millicent, and I have always done everything together. We were so close that we never went anywhere without the other person. All our family members, family friends, and even our friends at school knew not to buy or gift something to one of us without the other. Our parents bought us the same clothes and shoes. We had to be put in the same classes at school. We did every single thing together. When it was time to go to university, we could not get into the same school. And because we did not want to be apart, we waited an extra year at home. The following year, my parents did not want the same situation to repeat itself, so they put us in a private university. We both studied business administration. Everything was going well at school, but on the social side, things were not all rosy. Guys always seemed to take an interest in Millie, and I did not get much interest. It was not so much of a problem at first because she always insisted that she would not go anywhere without me. And in any case, we had agreed not to leave each other alone with guys because of the evil stories we heard around. The truth was, I always ended up feeling like the odd person out. Millie tried to set me up with friends of guys who showed interest in her, but I was often not very open to them because I felt like they were token arrangements and that the guys were only there by obligation, not because they really liked me. For the first time in my life, I became aware of the differences between Millie and I. She was the extrovert, and I had always thought I was one too, but had come to realize that though I liked spending time with my friends and was very active in their midst, I did not really like the party lifestyle that Millie dragged me into when we got to university. I felt like I lived in her shadow, and the bigger problem was that I did not know how to tell her without hurting her feelings. Millie never objected to going anywhere with me. Neither did she decline to do any activities I wanted to try out, so I did not know how to tell her that the outings were simply too frequent and too draining for me. We had never had any close friends outside ourselves. We had friends who were close to us both, but not to any of us individually. I felt like I would be breaking her trust if I spoke to them first without telling her. By the end of our first year, our lifestyle was starting to tell on our academics. We were not doing as well as we could. I decided to use that as an entry point to speak with Millie, but for the first time ever, we argued. She felt like I was flogging the issue of academics, but I insisted that we could perform better and needed to do so if we stood any chance of graduating with great grades, and that the partying was the problem, so we needed to cut it down. We did more than have an argument. We did not speak to each other for a whole day, and she went out without me that evening. I had never felt so empty in my life, but I also felt free. I cried my eyes out while she was away, but something in me broke that day. I was asleep by the time Millie got back, but she woke me up and we made up. But after that night, I found it easier to tell her when I was not interested in going out. With time, we started to have different friends, and our lives started to go in divergent ways. By our third year, we weren't staying together anymore. I stayed with a friend, and she also took a room with a friend of hers. We met up in class, and we visited each other off and on. Things seemed to be fine, but I did not realize that Millie held against me the fact that I had broken up our closeness. She did not tell me much about what was going on with her, and we grew apart even more as the years went by. After graduation, I moved to the US to further my education and I ended up staying there. Millie started a fashion business in Nigeria and got into the celebrity crowd and became even more distant. It's 10 years post-graduation and we barely talk. Neither of us is married yet, but Millie has a son. My parents can't wrap their heads around it, especially since we are the only children. I am still hopeful that Millie will come around someday, and I reach out as much as I can. But I am at peace with myself, and I sincerely hope that she is too. What are your thoughts about the story of the twins, Mildred and Millicent? Please share in the comment section. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and to turn on the notification bell so you never miss any of my stories.